we'll never be who we were in 2019, ever.
It's been a very isolating time, as it has been for many of us.
It's a lot of energy being like, oh, poor me, when it's really poor everyone. We're all sort of missing out on a lot of things.
We were facing something that we did not know anything about in terms of how it spreads, what could we do to prevent it, and how to treat it, most importantly. So this was beginning of the spring or at the end of February last year. So that was the scary part. As the COVID cases started to surge up and we noticed a lot of patients coming in very afraid of what's going to happen to them. Even if they came in contact with someone who had COVID, we saw them. That peaked somewhere in April when we were in the middle of the pandemic and the first wave, which was starting to feel like it would never end.
It's like a ghost town. It is crazy. It is crazy. It's unbelievable to know how the building was before, like a year ago, comparing to now. It's like you lost your mom. I don't have that energy no more. The music give me that energy. You hear the music in the building, it give me that energy, it just keep me, motivate me, keep me moving. It's like, but now it's like, you're crying for that music, you're crying for something to motivate you and stuff like that. I have to be here and to keep the people safe who here with me and who come through the building. So I like that. I like that responsibility to keep the building clean.
For me, music has always been sort of a therapeutic activity. In the pandemic, I feel perhaps even more lucky to have that as part of my life because it gives me sort of a way to travel in ways that other people can't necessarily experience on their own. I can travel through time and to cultures through the music, and that's something that's really special. As a musician, I've learned a lot of new music on my own that otherwise I may not have had the motivation to learn because boredom, time, but also kind of an element of existential dread that kind of puts the fire underneath you to work.
Me and two of my best friends, we would talk about it and we were trying to be really hopeful and be like, the senior year is gonna be our year, like we're gonna pop off, like we're gonna do the thing. And you know, well, we have in our own right, but it really just like is that like missed connection where it's like, I don't feel right like hanging out with my friends all the time because I don't want to put them in danger or put myself in danger.
There's a lot of trauma that's happened to people. There's a lot of feelings of not being in control. I think when you look at the 500,000 people plus that we've lost, and you know, I think the numbers were up to 3,300 healthcare providers that we know of. I look at numbers, obviously, you know, it's numbers, but behind those numbers are people who left behind so many people that are going to miss them and love them. So I think it's going to absolutely just leave an imprint on our souls for a very long time.
Just the live, the in-person exchange is just so vital and important, and that is something that we're all reckoning with as a society right now. So I had contacted a few musicians that I know, and we put together a concert here in the courtyard of my building. And it was a really special and nourishing environment. Some of the musicians had not played in months. That was the first time they had performed publicly for anybody.
It's like when there's really nothing that's pulling me out there, and you're actually being told that you shouldn't be going outside. It's like the whole world is starting to like get really small and really suffocating. So there was definitely a point where I was like really, really depressed and just like really struggling.
I'm hanging on in there. I know it's not going to be forever. It might be long, but it's not going to be forever. I know it's going to come back one day. I can't wait for that day to come.
And I think we're beginning to see the sunlight through the fog of COVID.
This last year has been really something that I hope we'll never see again in our lifetime. We never thought we'd be doing things that we are doing now, and they've become the norm.